Hello, welcome to the Revolt Endurance Championship. I'm Duke, and here with me is Honk as well.
Hello, hello.
Today we will be racing Schools Out 1, which some players definitely fear. So let's be looking at Fam and Frost as soon as I switch to the correct view. Frost keeping going. Ganesh has the best lap yet, but 30.9 is not much. Let's see what the next laps will bring. Let's see who will be improving their times. Nick with a 30.399 in the meantime. He's very much out of queue, I think. Fam 30.4, also very close to Nick again. Nick improving by 1 millisecond, I believe. So that's now 14 milliseconds instead of 13. Fam will be having traffic if she keeps going, but this lap is also what's relevant. He does a 30.338, which takes Paul Frost 30.4, which is not enough to beat Nick. Nick cannot beat Fam yet. After this, oh, Frost slowing down, Sting slowing down as well. They both slow down. Fam improving to 30.2. Let's see if Nick can pull off something. What place is Nick though? Oh, he is slowing down as well. So they still have 1 minute 40 to start their laps. Frost with a spin. That's not gonna be it. Kiki improving though ahead. Sting improving as well. Frost down to 6 on standings. Let's see if he can... Oh, he did improve. 30.327 improves up to second. Now the question is, can Nick take back the top 2 spot? Tova with a crash in the meantime. But Fam might be improving still. The issue is that he began this lap now. He won't have any more. And Frost also slowing down. So they will be beginning the final laps. Fam with a crash. Fam will not be improving further. Frost has had issues as well. So let's see if anyone else can improve. Amma with 30.4 as well.
Lots of people get to finish out a lap here.
Kiki not improving, G crashing as well, Sting no improvement, Tova no improvement here.
Ganesh,
Dylan.
oh no. Messing up Power 8's lap, almost messing up Air 2's lap there as well. Oh man, you gotta just stay out of the way, dog. Okay.
And we will be racing now. So Frost and Nick losing a bit of ground to Fam on that start. Frost vaulting a bit closer, but Nick crashing into the chair on lap 1. So that's already gonna be a huge loss for him, down to position number 9.
Famous with the horrible crash as well in the desk, and he's dropped down to 5th.
Oh wow, so that's a bit unexpected of a start. Kaelan already lagging so much. So Nick said in the chat that if we didn't have team race, maybe that would look bad. I don't think that really would if he's lagging so much. He already lagged a bit. If this goes, well, he's now out of the way, but I don't know if this is the most optimal way to go about this. But we do have a fight for second going, so let's focus on that at the moment. And we also have other fights further down the field. For example, the fight between G and Nick for 8. So let's also be looking at that, which you will see on the screen on the bottom. Beautiful. And that is not the fight at the moment, that is now. Frost, for second actually, Frost with quite the lead. And in fact, Fam also closing the gap. Thing not going too fast. Frost with the best lap of the race. So this could be a bit of an issue for Sting.
Frost, the farthest gap in the race right now between first and second. Nice little lead for him. 4 people.
Yeah, he's expanding it quick. It's definitely helped by the fact that Fam and Nick crashed on lap 1, who were some of his main rivals. In fact, they were the other players starting in the top 3. But let's see if he can do it consistently. Fam attacking Kiki though. However, this time around, Kiki could be overtaken by Fam because of this. Fam closing in that section as well. Fam could be gaining here too, but he's gonna hit the guardrail actually. So that's not an overtake by him. He is the one who's getting overtaken by 3 other players and is right ahead of Amma now.
Oh
And I meant Lampard, not Amma. Amma also went by, and G is not far behind either. So let's be taking a look at
Frost.
Kiki and seeing Frost has crashed. So another fight that's starting.
It's a fight for first place. We'll see how it develops. The full podium right here. 1, 2, 3. Nice gap between them, considering they're only on lap 7. Between 3rd and 4th, I mean. So they've got their way.
I will say one thing, Fam has crashed again. He's now down to position number 9.
This
And Frost is also being chased, but he's still in the lead. So this could be important regarding their points fight.
This has been par for the course for Famous so far. And many of these races, he started in the back and just claws his way back up. But 9th place, it is going to be quite the gap, quite the clawing that he's going to have to do. In the meantime, 1st, 2nd, 3rd continues. Bit of gap has grown between all 3 of them, but it's not going to be too much of an issue. None of them going for that guardrail skip.
Nick is actually closer to Kila. Nick trying to get 4th place. He also crashed on lap 1, if you remember. So he could be gaining a few spots back here. Until... Was that him crashing? No, I thought I saw a car. I'm sorry, but Nick is actually attacking Kila. And that could be 4th position for him, which is a good start for the comeback for the podium, because he would be actually up to 4th. He is now ahead of Kila.
Absolutely. In the meantime, Famous with the best lap in the race, but still occupying that 9th place position. Hasn't made any headway so far. Many positions that Famous could scoop up here if he keeps getting those best lines, best times.
He does get another best lap, so the single digits slide a bit, and Nick is fighting Kila again.
Yeah.
For 4th, he must have made a bit of a mistake, because I think Nick has the better pace, but minor mistakes could be his downfall still. And he is attacking Kila again. As you can see on the bottom right screen, we won't be switching to that on the main one because the top 3 are quite close.
Right.
So any small mistakes could still mean a position change here. Nick could be going for the overtake through the guardrail though, and it's not gonna be enough. He was a bit too far from that.
Now, something funny that I will point out is that Keila Barris and Nick were both in Twitch chat, and they had the conversation about the guardrail. Keila Barris saying it's too risky, Nick saying every millisecond matters. So we're going to see if that comes into play here, if it actually happens. Who was right? Nick with the overpass before the guardrail skip, and a wreck by Kiki, I believe. But Kiki immediately falling back into 8 off of 1 minor mistake under the desk. So it's now mostly a battle for 1st, 2nd, 20 meters between 2nd and 3rd. Nick and Keila Barris, the battle is still on. Amma, Lampert, G, Kiki, all pursuing. Famous maybe had a minor mistake somewhere along the way.
G, who I believe has said he wouldn't be racing, he definitely doesn't like the track. But he's not far from even a potential podium with how close these cars are. And Lampard is right ahead of him, so he would be the first car to overcome. Well, G, Fan with another best lap, 30.250. But even with that, I'm not sure it's enough, because the top 8 are all going quite consistently.
Nick in 3rd, and he's got a gap on Keila now. So I guess that was a pretty clean pass by him. And he's now in that podium, approaching more.
because Alma was still ahead of Fam. So they had a bit of a chain of events,
Lampert
but
seems to have spun out. G and Kiki both passing.
yeah, and in fact, G lost. No, not lost ground. It was Lampard ahead of him. So G is being attacked by Kiki, who seems to be doing decent pace at the moment. But if he looks behind, there's a car that has post music playing with it. And on the other hand, Nick is getting closer to the top duo. Frost with a mistake.
Yeah.
And Nick overtakes him as well.
That is what you're seeing down there in the bottom right. And yeah, Nick, it was something that I was going to mention was that Nick had been gaining on both of them.
Yeah, so we have 2 3-way fights at the moment, and the rest have spread out quite a bit. So G, Kiki, and Fam are fighting for position number 5. Fam also going for the guardrail. I don't know if it gains enough. It does seem like if you can do it consistently, it's a gain. Someone has crashed in the meantime.
We missed it. Yeah, we missed Nick's crash. Not sure what happened exactly, but all of that, he was so close to that first place position. But now he's got about 30, 35 meters to make up.
Oh, and in fact, he will be joining this 3-way fight, which was 4-way for the second, but Nick crashed and G was taken out with him, and Fam gains 2 spots with that, but he's also on the back of Kiki now, who he could be overtaking. Let's see. Maybe the guardrail will be an opportunity, but he could be going by even before that. He has great lines as shown so far, and this is an area where you have to slow down, so Fam could be going for an inside line. Not gonna be enough. Here comes the guardrail though. A bit too far for that to be enough, and he almost flips with the way he does that. And Kila Borus ahead of them, also losing some ground, I think.
Hey, Kalen wrecking out Laggy Rock as well. It's kind of a random aside. He does seem to be having some connection issues. Hate to see that for sure. He has clawed his way up from last place.
So, was it lag that crashed Lager then?
Yeah, I mean, he's teleporting, yeah.
Okay, I will be putting him on spectator mode.
Yeah, you have to.
Because that could be causing difficulties, not just for the players around him, but also for the players lapping him.
Right.
So, Fam, and in the meantime, while I did that, Kiki has disappeared from the picture because Fam must have had a crash. He's now more than 25 meters behind, and Kiki closing in on Kila. On the other hand, Frost closing in on Sting. We've seen the two of them fight for the lead before. That was in Game Room 2, and now, about 1/3 of the way through, they are really in a fight, 30 meters away from anyone else. That accounts for more than on any other maps.
Absolutely. Sting and Frost grouped up. They passed their first opponent, Tova. They are beginning their lapping spree.
And we have G and Amma fighting behind them, and
Whoa.
Never mind what I said. Amma with a big crash. Amma with another crash during his recovery. So that fight is fully over, and we have Frost right behind Sting. So that gap closed really fast, really soon here. And Sting will hit the chair, so we don't even have to wait for an overtake. And Kiki chasing Kila in the meantime, and they also have Tova's lap traffic. Tova getting out of the way nicely, hitting the wall as well. And Fam's gap is fairly consistent to Kiki at the moment too, so he's not really gaining. On the bottom right you see Stingox, who's about 20 meters behind the leader Frost. Let's see if Kiki goes for the guardrail. No, he won't. Neither of them do, as you mentioned, Kila has mentioned in the chat before. that he would not be going for it, and it seems like it's paying off for him because he's running third in this race with his consistency. He's not even on the top 6 in the best lap leaderboard, on the best lap leaderboard, but he's running third in the race, which it would be his best performance. Nick with the best lap of the race though, gaining points for that, but Kiki overtakes Kila, so Kiki is up to third, and for that he'd be gaining 3 more points, I believe, than for
Yeah.
fourth. But I was gonna say before the overtake and while Nick was running his best lap, that he would gain 6 points for that, but that would be around the same amount of points as Kila. Kila really close to Kiki there, not gonna be making it happen. On the other hand, we have Nick, who I think made a mistake and is now trying to get back ahead of Lampard. On the bottom right of your screen, he will have the inside line. We should put that on the main screen. And we will have Fam on the bottom right as Nick goes by Lampard.
Sting Rex, Kiki, taking second. And now it's a four-way battle.
Yeah,
My,
Fam a
my.
bit further behind than the rest of them. And Kiki and Sting are the closest. But Kiki is now second, who we've talked about a lot. Sting with a really aggressive move on the inside. Maybe even pushing Kiki a bit and possibly scaring him into obedience. He really put that Yeka in there. He went for the move, and it was a bit of a typo, but it was fairly safe, and he didn't crash from it. Neither did Kiki, who could be doing the same to him in this upcoming section, which is where Sting made the overtake. Kiki trying to go for the exit speed, but it's not gonna be enough. Still is really close, and Kila's very close behind as well. Sting has crashed, so Kiki is back in second, and in fact, Fam is really close behind him first too.
Fam coming from 9th place. We're not even at the halfway point. He was in 9th. He's conceivably in second if he can pass these two.
Yeah, 9th place is not as much of an issue in the beginning of the race when the gaps
Right.
are closer, gaps are smaller. However, at this point, for example, I'll wait a bit with that because Fam is really close to Kila. He's not gonna go by yet. So what I was gonna say is Nick has been making mistakes while we were talking about the top 5s. And he's now back behind GeForce in 8th, and he's gonna have a way harder time overcoming any of that. Fam looking around Kila in the meantime.
This is a similar situation to Santorini. You kind of alluded to this in the pre-show, but very difficult to pass at many of these spots. Fame is going to try to make it happen through the desk. Still isn't able to lock the deal. Goes through the guardrail. Nothing doing. He's still sitting there in 4th place. Not able to make the pass happen. A little bit of an awkward landing from Keela Barris that will give him the opening in the American football field.
From that, he will have a bit of a harder time getting between Fam and Frost, but Fam is still not second because Kiki is there.
Exactly. In the meantime, that 6th, 7th, 8th place is stacked. Nothing has happened so far, but Lampert, yeah.
But the first place fight is back on,
Oh,
basically.
my.
Frost made a 30-meter mistake, and Kiki and Fam now see him on their screens. And this is gonna be a huge motivational factor, especially for Famous, but also for Kiki. Kiki is still doing decently in points as long as he can do well in these upcoming races, because he missed 3, so he is quite a bit down. But if he does well in these upcoming races, he could very well be putting himself in the top 5. On the other hand, Fam and Frost are 1 point away from each other on the top of the leaderboard. So for Fam, this is even more important. And in the meantime, we also have a 3-way fight between G, Lampert and Nick, which you can see on the bottom right of your screen. Actually, that would be good to look at on the main screen. because there's not much going on in the top three, and the three of them are really close. Nick going by Lampard here, and he's really right behind G as well. There's a bit of lag going on. G not actually crashing that, but Nick is on his rear bumper.
Yeah, and we definitely need to get that bottom right on the front three. Yes, yes, yes. Frost, Kiki, Famous. Keela is 15 meters away. Famous passes Kiki down in. That's going to be on the top now, in the big screen. Frost still with a bit of a gap, but Famous, known for closing such gaps. Keela seems like it disconnects somewhere, but Keela still fighting strong, 4th place.
That was actually G-Force.
He confirms it was a rage quit in the chat.
Okay, so I was wrong. And it's Frost, Fam, and Kiki Fam closing in on Frost a bit. He does have a better best lap, but that doesn't mean that much. Nick, with the best lap by, I think, less than 5 milliseconds here. Or definitely less than 18, because Fam has a 250, Nick did a 232. And another battle to watch out for is Amma versus Powerade again. But we do have the lead fight. Frost and Fam about a meter apart. Fam definitely gaining. Nick with another best lap of the race. He did find his consistency, or at least more pace. Even if he will crash in the upcoming lap, I think this was a success for him. But Fam is right on the back of Frost, and Frost running a bit wide in the team section. Fam is looking for an overtaking opportunity now. Can he try a dive bomb into the chair area? He's a bit too far for that, but he has a better line. They can't really go side by side there. That would have resulted in a crash. Fam going
go
vital.
skateboarding! What are you doing, Fam?
Fam definitely was used to the guardrail line, and he somehow missed that. And there, his whole turn was wide. I don't think I've seen him take it outside of that, but he's now down in 3rd. And Kiki is 7 meters ahead of him. Frost about 20.
Sting has wrecked. He'll be about 60 meters back, getting approached by Nick quite quickly. This could be the start of Nick's revenge. Lap 56 of 89 definitely has some wiggle room to nab a couple of positions up. Kiki, 2nd place.
And yeah, that was the overtake for 5th. Nick went by as Sting ran wide. Similarly as Frost did on the team area. So Nick is ahead, and he seems to have some pace. He's about 55 meters behind Keela. And Fam is a bit closer to Kiki. Just closing in. Is very slow though, and he's gonna crash the guardrail again. He almost made the ramp, but he made his recovery worse by trying to go for that. So Keela also goes by. Keela back on the podium, and Kiki can safely chase down Frost now if he finds the pace. He does have a 30.3, so he must just be waiting for a crash from Frost without him crashing, obviously. Right. And there's also a fight for position 13 between Tova and Zyno. Let's have a small look at that in the bottom right before we switch back to Nick versus Fam, which is more important in terms of points and in terms of this whole race. Tova does go by Zyno after Zyno makes a mistake. And we also see that fight on the main screen, because Kiki and Frost will be lapping them soon. So this might be a bit of an unfortunate scenario. Frost will definitely not want to see this. He's hoping that Zyno is very aware of his surroundings and of the two cars coming behind him. Oh, Frost is closing in at a really bad spot here. Zyno does not crash, he's sliding around a bit, but Kiki can close in on Frost. I don't know if Frost is distracted. Zyno going for a very weird jump, but the two leaders do manage to pass him. And Kiki crashes the left side
out of nowhere,
which is something I definitely didn't expect. It wasn't an area we've mentioned for possible crashes, but that is gonna give quite an advantage to Frost. And we now have a closer fight for fourth because of this. Let's keep an eye on the bottom right.
Definitely.
On the top two still. Yeah, so Kila's best position is, I believe, fifth.
I think so too.
Yeah, so based on this, this would be his best position by 2. And also, it would be his first podium, which might be a more important measure. It definitely doesn't have one of those. So, he'd be fighting tooth and nail, I feel. And he knows a championship contender is behind him, but Fam manages to go by here. So that tooth and nail didn't quite work out well. I don't know
And
what he's thinking about the fight though. Maybe he feels like fighting would just oh, Kiki is in the lead. Frost
wow,
must have made some kind of a mistake
we
because Kiki
completely
takes the
missed it.
lead and he's now ahead. So
Ugh,
Kila
how do we
might not be
miss it?
holding a championship leader
Yeah,
behind anymore. However, we do have Frost behind Kiki, which is the bigger point implication.
yeah. Keel Bar still fighting this out. Nick is so close behind in fifth, but Keela just not messing up. Frost challenging Kiki for first, but Kiki's been running so hot, like we've said.
This was one of the few mistakes Frost has made. But oh my, Ganesh also has some lag. It's not teleport, it's him running close to the vault that the game thinks with the ping that he might crash them.
Yeah,
So it's a different issue, it's not as big and players can somewhat prepare for it.
yeah.
It's still somewhat of an issue, but we'll see if Kiki will be led by anytime soon. And Sting is down in 9, so we've not been paying much attention to him. But he's really,
Ooh,
really struggling here. He
wow.
fell back quite a few spots, and Alma and Powerade also went by him. He lost more than 300 meters to the leaders. And Nick goes by Killa as well. In the meantime, Ganesh crashing, almost taking out Kiki in the process. With 20 laps to go, the race is quite close at the moment. So the racers might not be liking this track, but it's good for this kind of close fights. And Fam and Nick are really close together as well for position number 3. Nick is faster at the moment, it seems. Let's see. It seems like they
No.
do go. Fam does go for the guardrail. Nick manages to overtake because Fam has crashed. So Kila is back in 4th. Fam down to 5th again. And Frost could be gaining quite a few spots. Quite a few points on him in the points if it goes on like this. Because Fam already has a 3rd place finish. He does have 2nd best lap. But that's not even over yet. Maybe he will be going for those at this point.
Nick crashes in the ramp before the guardrail. Keela passing quite effortlessly, has a 2-meter advantage now. Famous seems to have fallen back more, 65 meters now, is sitting in 5th, behind 4th. Kiki only 2 meters ahead of Frost in the meantime, up in 1st, and they're lapping Sting. Ertu's been lapped. Will Sting let them by? Surely he would. Surely he would. Thank you very much. Gets around the sprinkler a bit tighter.
Yeah, Erzu was lapped at least for the 2nd time there, so he's very much out of any kind of contention. Sting did get out of the way as well. Kiki would be gaining the most points in this race as we stand, but Frost is really, really close. And this fight for the lead is on. Frost will be gaining 23, Fam 15, which is the most important 2 names you should be looking at on that points gained graphic we have on. Because there's a championship fight and Frost would be leading by 9 points after this, which would be huge for his championship hopes. Remember, Fam would probably be removing this result because only the best 7 count.
Right.
But that's still one race that he cannot be just improving on, that he needs to fully all out in the final 3 races.
Now, Famous is approaching Kielbaris. That would be 4th place. Kielbaris has messed up somewhere along the way. And Nick, on a bit of an island, has fallen back a bit between 1st and 2nd. So this 1st and 2nd battle is really on. The closest race by far, Power and Ama also having a pretty close one. They are for 7th and 8th.
Yeah, on the bottom right you are now seeing Famous Oh, who has crashed?
Perfect timing.
Soon after we took a look at him, so maybe that was jinxing him, but I feel like Fam is not really feeling the track today. He's had many crashes, and he's now again 40 meters behind Keela, just as before. And Frost is not managing to find a Veer and Kiki. In fact, the 3 meter gap is quite consistent, so Frost doesn't even have pace on him at the moment. Kiki was mentioned as a serious threat before, and he's definitely proving that he's won.
I would, yes, and I would recommend that we put Power and Alma down there in the bottom right. Super close race between them in the meantime for that 7th-8. But yeah, the talk of the town for this entire race has been Kiki and Frost. Everybody, regardless of what grade they're in this school, they're all talking about them. Kiki and Frost, the battle is on. 79 of 89 is the lap count. They're approaching Alma for the lap.
Because
sure.
they're 1 meters apart. They are 1 meter apart. And Frost could be going for an overtake here.
The push! Kiki, amazing defense here. Defending blow after blow from Frost, even jumping through the guardrail, really risking it all for each meter, but it might be enough. He does continue blocking Frost. He's definitely looking behind him to know exactly where Frost is at all times. This is like Santorini, just able to block in these narrow corridors.
Yeah, and Frost could be looking for any overtaking opportunity. He's living this fight from the other way, which he has lived it before. Last time it was him being chased down by Sting. This time it's the same situation, but him chasing down someone else, namely Kiki Fan with the best lap of the race, which is very important when you consider that this could be giving him 2 further points. But Frost is right on the back of Kiki, and we've seen the chair turn as an overtaking opportunity before. Frost taking it, but Kiki actually sliding out. Did he get pushed?
I don't. Maybe. I don't particularly think so, but maybe. 25 meters. Oh, heartbreak city for Kiki, but it's a second place. If he can hold on to that mental fortitude, the fire that he had going into this, he's only 20 meters ahead of Nick, so he can't get salty about what just happened. He can't let it get to his head. He has to keep racing, but Nick has wrecked and he has to flip. That is exactly what Kiki needed.
Yeah, but Kiki is still not that far. Any single small mistake by Frost could be it, and Ganesh and Amar also good. The gaps are really changing up here. And I was gonna mention Nick as well, who somehow very silently became third, and we did talk a bit about him, but it didn't even hit my head until a few laps ago when he took a look at him, and oh yeah, he's in third after being far down the order, and in fact having a harder time overcoming his crashes than Famous. But now Nick is in third and Fam is in fifth. So I pointed out Nick as an example that halfway through the race, from the same position, it will be harder to overcome that much. But this is a race where anything could happen, and it has happened for Nick. But we have 3 to go, and it's 23 meters between the 2 leaders.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned that actually about Nick, I'm going to be keeping my eyes on Kilo Barris as well. 4th place finish for him if he can lock it down. You know, not too noticeable of a race going on. Somebody has wrecked. Famous wrecking again, getting passed by Lampert even. Lampert claiming 5th for the moment. Kiki doing quite well for himself. Only 20 meters, has done a bit of work, but not very much time left to do it with. Kilo Barris holding strong to 4th. Congratulations to him as long as he can finish these 2 laps. Nick has wrecked. Major wreck, only 10 meters ahead of Kilo Barris now. Kilo Barris could get podium.
Yeah, that would be his first podium like you mentioned, so that's also important. And Kiki and Frost are doing quite similar pace at the moment. So let's be taking a look at the final lap of the leaders. Frost has a few spots where he could be wrecking at. Kiki will really want this. We don't know what happened to him when he slid out. Frost losing a bit of ground there. He must have made a minor mistake. But it's not gonna be enough for Kiki to catch. He needs something else, some kind of a similar crash from Frost that he had in this area. But Frost will be avoiding that wall far away, and he will be completing this final turn to win this race. And now let's
Barely.
be focusing on actually Famous versus Lampard, because
Yeah.
Kila has crashed in
Yes.
the chase of Nick. But it looks like Fam will be able to secure fifth. Not like it might matter, because I think this will be removed in the end of the season. But he did take away pass lap, which is important for him still. Favorite looks like he will be finishing 7th after a long fight between him versus Amma. Amma does get 8th, who was attacked by Ganesh near the end, and Laker also fairly close to them.
It does look like it. Yeah. Thank you for that follow. But yeah, this has been a bittersweet moment for two racers.
No, Zaino
what?
didn't get disconnected. It's
Okay,
just not
okay.
seen on the leaderboard. So,
Okay.
oh, and he's overtaken by Erzu right here actually.
Ooh.
The positions are not accurate. They are fighting for 11th, 12th, and 13th. Zaino is 13th at the moment, and Erzu will be finishing behind Toa, and Zaino, who's had a crash in the final lap, and Erzu taking the 12th away from him. But that is our last finisher, because it looks like Thing didn't get disconnected. He just stopped driving or
Yeah.
went to spectator mode.